anti-aging treatment in the world, because you're worth it.
Try one of our fresh baked baguettes for just $1.99. The spicy peri-peri chicken baguette for just $1.99. So get down to Burger King.
Oi, Churchill, have you saved that couple money on the car insurance?
Oh, yes.
So you got great prices for loads of family cars like this one?
Yes.
Do you check your prices every week to keep them so great?
Oh, yes.
And I bet you gave them a discount for buying online?
Yes.
And don't tell me a courtesy car is standard.
Oh, yes.
And they still won't let you see that lovely view.
What view?
For great deals on car insurance, call Churchill on 0800 200 300 or save even more by buying online at churchill.com.
If you go in there crying like a girl, they'll have you for breakfast, which is fine by me. But if you want to give yourself half a chance...
Leave her alone. Or what? You'll find out.
You'll have to face it. Like a man.
Winner takes all. Well, that'll be me. And I'll take what I want. I'm going to kill her, and you're going to help me.
Bad Girls, Tuesday at 9, ITV1.
Come on, then. Take the first shot.
Will it go down as the greatest Grand Prix fiasco of all time? If you missed it earlier, it's definitely the one to talk about. Here are the somewhat shortened highlights from today's US Grand Prix.
F1 on ITV, sponsored by LG.
We have been embarrassed by what's happened here at Indianapolis this weekend. Formula One has scored a massive own goal. You wonder if the sport will ever recover in the USA. We've had a farce here. The problem started back on Friday. Michelin had a tyre that they were worried would not last the full race distance. Ralf Schumacher's accident triggered the problem. Ralf Schumacher, virtually an action replay of his crash here last year. The left rear tyre of the Toyota caused that smash. Ralf Schumacher's racing weekend was over on doctor's orders. James Allen takes up the story.
Well, Michelin clearly knew they had a problem after those tyre failures on Friday, but they allowed their teams to qualify on Saturday single lap, provided they increased the tyre pressures, which they all did. Meanwhile, the suspect tyres were sent off to a laboratory in South Carolina, Michelin laboratory, for further analysis. It wasn't until 6 o'clock on Sunday morning that the news came through that the tyres could not be vouched safe for 73 laps, particularly on the high-speed banking where the cars hit 190 miles an hour. The problem with the left rear sidewall, it just simply couldn't stand the loads, particularly with the banking as well. So Michelin said basically the situation is we cannot race unless you put a chicane between turns 12 and 13 to reduce the speed through that bank section. The FIA were unwilling to do this, their main argument being why should the Bridgestone teams, Ferrari, Jordan and Minardi, be penalised for what is essentially a Michelin error? Well, the negotiations carried on for hours, right up to 5 minutes before the cars went out of the pit lane for the formation lap to try and avoid any kind of farce here at Indianapolis.
The chicane the 9 teams had asked for just didn't happen. So after a brief appearance, everyone except Ferrari, Jordan and Minardi pulled into their garages.
OK, mate, you know our plan is for the start. Straight in the pits, please, mate.
We had a farcical 6-car race at the racing capital of the world. Martin Brundle and James Allen kept an eye on it.
Who knows what's going to happen in the US Grand Prix? It's the strangest race ever, and it gets underway now. Predictably, Michael Schumacher leads away from Rubens Barrichello. The two Jordans, they're going to make a bit of a battle with Minardi. Looks like we might be losing a Jordan already. I saw smoke earlier, I mentioned it, off the formation lap. The two Minardis there battling with the Jordans as well. And what is the reaction of the crowd? Well, it's stunned silence.
I don't know what it says about the 6 teams that have elected to run, to be honest. Maybe they're contractually bound, but you know, they should have joined up and found the solution too. I think they're probably just as guilty here of doing the wrong things as the guys in the pits in many respects, because they failed to help a solution be found. We're watching a 6-car race. Thankfully, none of them ran into each other in the first turn.
For the record, Michael Schumacher is leading, Rubens Barrichello is second. That's Thiago Monteiro ahead of Christian Albers. Narain Karthikeyan is fifth, and Patrick Friesacker is sixth, and on for 3 World Championship points here this afternoon. I guess of some interest is who's going to get the final podium slot, because clearly if the 2 Ferraris are reliable up the front, they're likely to finish 1 and 2. It's 73 laps. It's going to take an awful long time here. But who's going to end up the final podium slot? There's a perverse interest in that.
Yeah, there is actually, isn't there? I know some teams put money on Karthikeyan yesterday and 1 or 2 others for podiums before all this blew up. So that'll be interesting to see how that one works out down at the bookies. So we've got a 4-car scrap for that 3rd place. Barrichello and Schumacher, 0.7 seconds. Louise has found David Coulthard.
Well, David, normally if you're talking to me this early in a race, it's because you've had some kind of technical problem. Obviously, very, very different situation today.
Yeah, you know, I really horrible feeling in my stomach. I've never experienced anything like this in my career before, and it's quite remarkable that in the interests of the sport that we couldn't find a resolution that would allow us to go racing. And I understand that it's not the fault of Bridgestone, it's a technical fault with Michelin. They have to pay some penalty. But, you know, you have your viewers, we have the crowd here. We've all come here to not race. You know, this is going to leave a long-lasting bitter taste in people's mouths. And as a driver, quite frankly, I'm embarrassed to be part of this situation. But we've been acting under instruction on the grounds of safety from Michelin, and there was no choice left open to us.
Explain to us, there was talk that a chicane would be built, and then you would all be happy to race. Why was that chicane not built?
I can't answer that. I believe there was a disagreement from Ferrari to accept that would be the case, and obviously Charlie made his position on behalf of the FIA quite clear that they didn't feel that they should have to alter the track. But I think this is a unique situation. I think it was one that on the grounds of safety they could have taken that stance. I know it's going to be one of these scenarios now of who should have done, who could have done. The reality is mature adults were not able to come to a resolution that would allow us to put on the show that everyone wants to see in Formula 1. We wanted to go racing, and it's a very sad day for the sport, I have to say.
Watch music videos on your mobile. Watch goals.